out about your thoughts about the whole fake news, because I have to say, when I listen to the news and I hear President Trump or even on CNN talk about the concept of fake news, which has come up a lot.
Yeah, a lot. Oh my gosh.
So I have
absolutely
two questions really. Do you think that there is a component of fake news out there? And if so, how can we as the American public really be smart for ourselves and get news that is based on truth and perhaps more objective truth?
That's a great question. I mean, I think, first of all, it's funny, as a journalist, the phrase fake news, we never used to even think about it up until a few months ago, and now it's like, you know.
President Trump definitely talks about that.
Yeah, now it's like dog, cat, and third word should be fake news. And if you're coming to America, here's the words. Right. And I think there is some truth to it. I mean, we saw it in the election campaign. We saw where suddenly, you know, some story made a headline, and we found out that it was some guy, you know, hacking on his computer and who knows where, you know, and sending out a message and making it look like it was a real news story. So there's that essence of it.
It seems like part of President Trump's family has gotten in the crosshairs of the media as well. And I'm wondering if you have any reactions to that. Is just everything fair if somebody's in the public eye?
I feel really strongly about that, and I feel like family members should be off limits.
Right.
I really do. And, you know, and I've met his family. I mean, I feel like, and I would say this regardless. I mean, I think about in the Clinton days, it was like anything to do with Chelsea, it was like we just kind of knew to stay away from.
Right.
And I think that, look, Donald Trump has picked to be president. He, you know, he's certainly someone who's handled an extremely successful businessman, handled world events. He can handle tough press, as much as he says, you know, that you know, so many folks are difficult. He certainly, you know, seems to even enjoy it. I think the barbing back and forth with the press,
and having fun.
It's fun to watch, and it really is. You're like, wow.
It is a little bit like a reality show.
It is.
I mean, that's the one thing I'm noticing about politics is that it does seem like one big reality show, and it's almost like nothing is as interesting to watch or see unfold.
Well, that's what's so funny. I mean, for people, I love politics. I love the news, and the ratings are like never before. I mean, I can't walk down the street without someone going, Rita Cosby, oh my gosh, what's going on with so-and-so? Like,
I notice even with my kids that they're so much more politically curious.
Which is fabulous. On President's Day,
I sadly didn't really know that much about politics when I was young. Do you see things changing at all in terms of us coming together as a country, or, you know, people on one side or the other being more open to hearing the other side?
Oh, that's a tough question. I think that if he can produce jobs and do some of these things that the people who elected him and the people that voted for him, he made a pact with them and saying, look, I'm going to come and I'm going to do this, I'm going to, you know, reduce taxes, if he can turn the country around. And I think also it's such a dramatic turn from the first black president that we had. I mean, you think about what a contrast from Barack Obama to, you know, President Trump. And sometimes that's what happens. Look, after Bush, then came Barack Obama.
And even in terms of Michelle Obama, right? Because you have to think about it, you know, Barack and Michelle Obama were they were used to the political landscape. They had practice. So it's very different when you come in and you've had experience versus two people really who are new to the political scene.
And a lot of people around them. And then on the other hand, it's funny, the people who, again, voted for him said, you know what? This is what we want. We want somebody who can kind of blow up the system and blow up Washington.
Here's a question. Do you think that we have here from our Facebook friends, do you think it's a bad thing if President Trump has a friendship with Putin?
I don't, as long as he's not afraid to also put him in line at the right time. And that's where I think that balance is. I've actually asked President about that. And I remember talking with him and saying, you know, even during the campaign, because right away all of us were like, oh, that's kind of interesting. He's taking this really hard line, and then when it comes to Russia, he's like, we're like, so right away, it's like,
that line. It's just a really, oh my God.
But with the guy who comes in with the shirt off, it's like, oh, it's hilarious.
I think that's what we need. I think we need laughter.
Yeah, we need a little more of
laugh
that.
at ourselves politically.
We need a little more of that.
We all pursue what we feel is important.
Yes.
You know, and when I advise, and I say this all the time, Rita, that, you know, I have patients who are independent, Republican, and Democratic. I want them all to be happy in their lives.
Yes, absolutely.
And I advise all of them that if they feel something is really important, they find a way to align themselves with a group, so that they can, you know, be an activist in their own kind of way. And I just want to, as we're coming to a close, just where can people find you? What exciting things are you working on? And don't forget The Quiet Hero, which is still out and a New York Times bestseller and a passion project for you, and a very exciting book and powerful. So where can we find you? What are you working on next? That's exciting.
I'm president of Robi's Fan Club. That's first.
I'm president of Rita's Fan Club.
But I'm also political editor and host on WABC Radio. Also doing lots of TV stuff, constantly doing stuff with HLN and other places. And also speaking a lot, of course, about my passion project, because I think part of the reason I got so involved in politics is because of what happened with my father, and also just such an appreciation for the military. And I think wherever you stand, make sure that you support our troops, make sure you remember that there's a lot of people out there, and young men and women, and I've seen a lot of them in distant lands, who are fighting for our freedom and still in very difficult conditions. Making huge sacrifices. And we still live in the greatest country in the world, however you feel politically. This is such a great country, and certainly worth defending and worth standing up for. So to me, it's been great being here, especially how perfect I'm president.
Oh my God,
she's the new political editor. Did you ever imagine Robi would be such a political expert? I love it.
I don't think anybody wants me as a political editor.
You do a really good job.
Stick to my day job.
I might be the psychologist after covering the presidential race.
But I'll tell you where my training as a therapist really comes in, is that I can appreciate all signs.
Yes.
I really can. It's just like any patient who walks into my office, you have to be able to appreciate where every single person comes from.
Absolutely.
So I feel that that does work to my advantage, but I'm going to leave the political editing to you, or being an editor and reporting and editing.
Certainly not boring, that's for sure.
To you, and we'll continue to watch and listen, and thank you so much for joining us on this special weekend. We're so happy to have you with us, and we'll see you next week talking about another exciting topic.